think I just had a revelation. I think it just hit me. I didn't know this. I think I've got this right. Now, if you've followed my channel for any length of time, you'll know that part of the reason that I made it was so I could learn about sneakers. And learn I have. This is like my 450th sneaker review, and I've learned a lot about sneakers, but not everything. I'm no sneaker encyclopedia. I'm no sneaker Wikipedia. I'm no sneakopedia. We should make that. We should make a sneakopedia. Wouldn't that be great? So I don't know everything about sneakers, and I've always been confused by sneakers that put OG in the title of the sneaker. And here we are. We're looking at the Nike Adapt BB 2.0 OG, and I was like, why would they put OG on that, you know? OG means original, so I was thinking about it while I was just sort of thinking about my notes on this video and what I wanted to say about these sneakers and that kind of stuff, and it hit me. I was like, does OG on a sneaker, and you guys are going to laugh at me for not knowing this, but anyway, does OG on the sneaker mean that it was one of the first colorways to ever go on sale for that sneaker? So if you have, for example, the Jordan 4s, there were 4 colorways that dropped first, you know, the very first colorways, the day that they dropped this brand new silhouette, Jordan 3s in 1988, and then in 89 they're dropping this new, hey, we've got this new Jordan 4 silhouette, here are the first 4 colorways. So those 4 are the OGs, and any other colorway, even if it's a month later, is not an OG colorway. So does OG on a sneaker signify the very first colorway or the very first colorways that go on sale on day one? OG means day one sneaker, day one colorway. Am I right? Let me know in the comments down below. And honestly, that was literally a revelation I just had a couple of minutes ago. I was like, is that what that means? I know it means like original, and some people say original gangster, and some people say it's like OG for original, and things like that. I know it means original, but I don't know what is original and what's not, because I see these sneakers dropping and they put OG on them, and you're like, why is that OG? What's so special about that? You know, it's not OG. They've been dropping these sneakers for 30 years. How can that be OG? But does it refer to the colorway itself being one of the OG colorways from the original drop on day one, or not? I don't know. If you can give me more insight into the details of what OG means, hit me up with a comment down below. Sorry for going off on that tangent, but literally I was thinking about that before I sat down to talk to you guys about this sneaker. And I don't want to waste any more time talking about that, and I do want to get into the sneaker because there's a lot to say. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. There's Kyrie 5s, there's Kyrie 6s, there's the BB 1s, the originals. What I would have called the OGs, but they're not the OGs because only the first one would be the OG. But there's the BB ones, we'll call them now because we now have these BB 2s. There's an awful lot going on in the sneaker. So without further ado, let's get into the Nike Adapt BB 2.0. This is a Tokyo About It 23 sneaker channel. Tokyo About It 23 sneaker channel days. Mainichi Upsune Day, Mainichi Miti Kusai. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, what we're going to be looking at is the Nike Adapt BB 2.0. And the first thing I want to talk about is the price point. $400. $400. Oh my goodness, it takes my breath away. That's like, it might as well be $1 million. It might as well be
$1 million.
Indeed, it might as well be $1 million. $400 is way too much for a pair of sneakers. I get the technology. I get the whole, you know, like adaptive element to it, that you don't have to, you know, tighten them and loosen them if they're a bit too tight, if they're a bit too loose. And it is a step forward in technology, but $400, my golly, that's an awful lot of money for a pair of sneakers. So if you're, you know, into that and you've got the means to buy that, you know, congratulations, well done. Go ahead and knock yourself out. I don't have the means to buy a $400 pair of sneakers, or at least not these. You know, if it was something like I don't know, if I got the chance to buy the Jordan 4 Kith Greys especially, love those sneakers. If I could buy those for $400, of course I would. But these, I don't know if I'd spend $400 on them. But speaking of, like rare shoes and things like that, every Sunday at this channel we get the rarest shoes in the world in hand. I mean, rarest shoes in the world in hand. These are, you've never seen some of them before. And to lead up to that every week, I talk about the hints that will lead into that video. And so far I've given you hints for this week that are LeBron 4 Grails, colourful, friends and family, and then today's hint is I'm going to show you the outsole. So if from all those hints you can work out what sneaker is coming in hand to the channel on Sunday, what rare sneaker is coming in hand to the channel on Sunday, hit me up with a comment down below and see if you can guess right. For now though, let's get into this. This Adapt 4.0, this Adapt 2.0, the BB 2.0s. Now there are two things going on with the sneaker. There's a big update in the design. Let's have a look at the 1.0s, if we can call it that. Clean, really clean, a really nice looking sneaker. Very expensive, but still it was a very nice looking sneaker, and a lot of people were interested in it. But then if we have a look at the 2.0s, you can see that the upper is very, very different, and it's been developed. So that's one part, is the look. The other part is the functionality. What's it like to play basketball? And these are basketball sneakers. How do they feel on feet? And the developments in that department. So there's two different things going on here, and we're going to be looking at both. Now, the first place that I want to look at is that distinctive signature feature on the side, which is the lights that come on that midfoot at the midsole section. Now on the originals, I think they tended to be blue. I don't know if you could change the color on them. I think they talked about being able to change the color on them in a different version. But the two little lights on the LED lights on the side there, the development that has come along with these guys is that for some reason they decided to add a plus and a minus into the design of those. I don't know if that has any purpose or functionality at all. I don't know if you can click plus and then click minus and it'll change the feel of the shoe. I'm guessing it does. Having not worn a pair or had them in hand, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that that's a place where you can manually adjust the fit of the shoe. I know that there's also the ability to do that by an app, and there's also the way that you can set that, to your personal settings through the app and things like that. But I think on the side there, those lights are actually buttons that will help you manually adjust that. So you can just quickly reach down, go pop, 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 just to tighten up without having to waste too much time, which is great in a fast-paced sport like basketball. But the design element on it is that they've added the plus and the minus marks on there, which I think is to help people out and to work out that element. Another place to look is if we go up onto that upper. Now, the upper, what they're calling it is a stretchable ballistic mesh. Okay, knock yourself out. There's your stretchable ballistic mesh. I'm sure it's great and durable and reactive and stretches in the right way, but supports in the right way at the same time. Personally, I think the upper on these guys does not look very good. It's I don't know. It's bitty, I think, lots of these different little bits in there, and that's no more evident than on the tongue. And if we look in on the tongue, you can really get a look at what I call the snowboard boot wires. I'm sure I put a picture behind me here of a snowboard boot and the wires on there, that when you tighten and loosen the snowboard boot, those wires pull taut to give it a better fit. And you can see those wires here on the 2.0s, and that's what is there instead of laces, and that is what is tightening and loosening to your foot. And it's interesting that you're able to see that so close up on there. Now, I talked about the sneaker being bitty and the upper being bitty. The place that I want to go to next is onto the heel, and this is where we can tie this up to the Kyrie 5s and 6s. In fact, why don't we tie it up to the Kyrie 6 trophies, which I reviewed earlier this week, because the designer is the same. The designer for Kyrie 5 and 6 is the same as the designer of these. And then and if you know that and look at the heel on these 2.0s, you can really see the crossover between the two lines. You can really see the commonality between them, and you can see that the designer, he had both in mind at the same time, and they're not like completely different sneakers. So you can see that overlap there. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the heel. It looks a bit large, and I said in my notes an exaggerated heel, and I'm just like, that's not. I'm not really feeling it. So But you know, that's it's just a design element. It's not really got much effect on the sneaker itself. What is a design element but also has an effect on the playability of the sneaker, which is a good place to transition into part 2 of this video, all about the functionality of the sneaker, is the outsole. And it's a clean outsole. I really like the single pattern effect of it. A lot of sneakers these days go with a layered outsole. In fact, yesterday a co-worker of mine showed me the Russell Westbrook Why Not 3.0's OG colorway, and I was looking at the outsole on them, which is like a stripes of colors, not dissimilar to that outsole I showed you earlier for the LeBron 4, rare LeBron 4s that are coming to the channel, but that striped effect, whereas if you look at these guys on the 2.0s, it's a single, like, I don't know, it's like a skin. That's what it's like. It's like a skin. And I love it. I think it's really clean. There are 2 points of color on there. It's an icy blue translucent outsole. But on the forefoot, it looks through to a red panel underneath in the midsole. So not on the outsole itself. And then the rest of the sneaker has just that icy blue outsole effect, which I assume underneath that is white. And that's how you can see the icy blue of the outsole so well. But it is a really clean outsole. I really dig that element of the shoe. And functionality wise, that's great for basketball. It's going to be great for grip and turn, and changes of movement, changes of direction, that kind of stuff. And so that brings us into the functionality element of this, because that's apparently the big deal about the BB 2.0s, is that they're easier to get on your feet. One of the very first videos I did for this channel, oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to link this. It was the Human Race, the Adidas Human Race, Pharrell Williams Billionaire Boys Club collaboration, and I bought a pair and I tried to put them on whilst in the video, and I'm like straining to get them on my feet, and then there's a moment where I go and there's a noise like a and a piece of fabric or lace, not lacing, stitching has broken in the shoe, and I'm like this. So I'll put a link to that awful video right here. That was probably 14 months ago, but apparently the BB1s, the Adapt BB1s, were very difficult to get on your feet, so they've tried to improve that with these, and to make it easier to get onto your feet, so that you've got a better fit to your foot. They're easier to get on and get off, better fit to your foot, and those elements of how well the sneakers upper and sneakers design responds to actual play is the major development between the BB1s and the BB 2.0s. So it's not really about the aesthetics of the sneaker, even though they have changed how the sneaker looks quite dramatically. There are some minor features that have carried through, like those lights on the side of the midsole area, but really they've changed the design a lot. But the actual step forward, the actual innovation, the actual development, the actual evolution of the sneaker comes from the actual playability and the functionality and the way it reacts to your foot, the way it fits your foot, and especially the way you can get it on and off compared to what it was like before. The midsole, I think, as well has some differences in the material of the midsole, so that it offers more stability but also more cushioning, which is very difficult to do, because usually the softer something gets, the less stable it gets. If you think of Ultra Boost 4.0s, for example, they tended to sort of have a lot of lateral movement because of the softness of the Ultra Boost on there, so they weren't very good for ankle stability. So being able to get those two things right is quite a big deal, and they've done it in this guy. So from a functionality point of view, from a playability point of view, from an actual I'm wearing these to play basketball point of view, fire. But the look of the sneaker, it just isn't my thing. So I'm a bit, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. That's all we really need to look at and really need to think about in those terms. So, but like I say, $400, man, it might as well be $1 million. It's just not a shoe I would go for. So we'll just have to watch it from afar, maybe get it in hand someday at a store. But there's no way I'm going to be putting my money in my pocket, my hand in my pocket, and pulling out money and paying for these guys. So that's the end of my video. Like I said at the top, why OG? Why do they call it OG? I'd love to hear from you guys about that. I'm pretty sure I've worked it out finally after 15 months of having my own sneaker channel. I finally worked out that the OG is the original colorways, and it's not. And it's just the very first colorways to drop on day one, I think. But if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments down below. For now though, it's time for me to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out my content. I will be back tomorrow with a Nike LeBron 17 James Gang video, so if you're interested in that, check that out. And then on Sunday, that rare LeBron 4 Grail is coming to the channel in hand, so again, that's something to check out for the future. For now though, time for me to sign off, and thank you guys for checking out my content. But as I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.